Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. My name is Bhuvan Agarwal and I hope you all are doing great and you all are getting lots of knowledge from this series on most important SQL commands and DBMS concepts for your interview preparation. So today we are going to start a new topic in SQL, that is select into statement in SQL. You see, this select into statement in SQL is very much used in real world use cases or even in your interview examinations. Okay, so your interviewers can ask you regarding this select into statement in SQL. So you should be ready with the answer, like what is select into statement in SQL, in which scenarios it is used, and how to use it actually. Okay, so we will look into each and everything related to select into statement. So before any further delay, let's get started. So what is this select into statement in SQL? You see, the select into statement copies data from one table into a new table. Okay, so simply the use case of this select into statement is that if you want to copy your data from one table from another table. Okay, suppose you want to copy copy data from student table into a new table. Okay, so you can use select into statement in SQL. So it is very much useful and it is really very useful whenever you have a requirement to back up your data. So in those cases it will copy your entire data from one table into a new table. Okay, so in that scenario it is very much used in real world use cases. Okay, so let us understand some of the scenarios, like how to use it actually. Okay, so the first syntax we need to understand is how to copy all the column data into a new table. Suppose you want to copy the entire table into a new table. Okay, so basically you are trying to create a backup, suppose. So how can you write this thing? So the syntax is very simple. The syntax is select star into new table name. You need to give your new table name from old table name where condition. Now listen to it very carefully. There is a catch here. Suppose you are having a old table, suppose student table. Okay, and you are given some condition. Suppose you want to copy only those data where student age is something like 20 to 25, in between this range. Okay, so suppose that is your condition, that is your business requirement. So you are having your old table name and you are also having your condition ready, but you are not having the new table ready. Okay, you haven't created this new table yet. So can you use this query? So this can be one question from your interviewers. So the answer to it is you don't need to create a new table. This statement will create this new table based on the schema for this old table. What do you mean by that? Means the total number of columns present in this old table, that same column names, the data types, each and every single thing will be copied, will be created for this new table also. Okay, so you need to understand that you don't need to create a new table. If you create, that's okay, but if you do not create it, that's also a fine scenario. Okay, so this statement will create a new table for you and it will also copy all the data from your old table to this new table based on the condition which you have provided. Okay, so I hope you got this thing. This is very helpful command. I hope you got this by now. Now let us understand some other scenarios in which we can use this select into statement. So the other scenario is if you want to copy some of the columns. In this scenario we looked into how to copy all the columns data, but suppose you need to copy some columns only to into a new table. Okay, suppose in your old table you are having 5 columns, but out of those 5 columns your requirement is to take out only 2 columns data. So in that case you need to use this syntax whichever I am showing you now. Okay, so the syntax is very simple, that is select column names, suppose column 1 comma column 2, so the names of your columns which you want to move into your new table, into this new table name from old table name where condition. So the entire query remains the same, just the difference is here you are using a star symbol. Why? Because you are copying all the columns data and here you are providing the column name specifically, like we need to copy only these columns data into this new table. Okay, so I hope you got this thing. If you have any doubt regarding this two syntaxes related to this select into statement in SQL, please comment down below. I will definitely try to help you out. So let us look into some other scenarios of select into statement. So this is very important video, guys. Please don't skip any part of it. And if you haven't watched all the videos on in this series from the very first, then please do so, because if you may miss any of the videos in between, then you may lose some of the concepts that can be asked during your interviews. Okay, so I know you all will watch this series entirely. So let's move on. So before moving into other scenarios in select into statement, I want you to note one very important point, that is your new table will be created with the column names and the type as defined in your old table. Okay, so I've already discussed this point with you, that is if you haven't created your new table yet, this query, the select into statement, will create the same table for you with the same schema, the column names, the types and all. Just you need to provide the old table name. So based on this old table name, the new table will be created for you if you haven't created it yet. Okay, so that's the case. So let us understand one scenario here, that is suppose you need to create a backup copy of your customer table. Suppose you are having a customer and a customer table, and you want to back up the entire table and you want to keep that backup stored somewhere. So how can you write the query? Definitely you need to use select into statement, because you are creating a backup. So the most important example or the scenario for this select into statement is to create a backup copy of any of the table if you want. Okay, so the syntax will be like this: select star, because we are creating the entire customer tables backup, so we will select star into customer backup 2020. So I am keeping the new table name is customer backup 2020 from customer table. Okay, so the data from this customer table will be backup in this customer backup 2020 table using this select into statement in SQL. Okay, so this is one of the very important SQL query, guys. Don't miss it, keep a note of it. Okay, so the other example which I want to show you is if you want to create a backup of your customer table by taking only two columns. Okay, so how can you do that? Definitely you can just write the column names here in place of this star, right? So the syntax is very simple, like select customer name comma contact number into this customer backup 2020 from this customer table. Okay, so I hope you got this point. If you have any doubt regarding these two examples, please comment down below. It is very important, guys, for you to comment down below, then only I will understand that my videos is helping you or not. Okay, so let's move on. So let us understand a third example in the select into statement in SQL, that is if you want to copy only the German customers into a new table. Suppose now your requirement is to copy only the German customers, means the customers who are living in Germany basically, into a new table. So the backup you need to create for the German customers basically. So what will be the query? The query is very simple: select star into the customer Germany table, that's a new table for you, from customer table, where the country for that very customer should be Germany. Okay, so the query is very simple. I hope you got this thing. Just you need to add this where condition, and if you add this where condition, then you will be fulfilling your requirement. Okay, so I hope you got this thing very easy. This is a very easy requirement, right? So please note this thing down, that is select into can also be used to create a new empty table using the schema of another. Just add a where clause that causes the query to return no data. So let me decode this point to you. Okay, see, select into statement can be used in various ways, and you have watched this in this video, right? Now the main use case of this select into statement is that if you want to create a new table just using the schema of another table. So you want to create a table customer with the same schema, the same column names, the same data type and everything into a new table. Okay, but you don't want to copy any of the data. So that's a requirement. You don't need to copy any of the required data. Just you want to create the schema for that empty table. Basically you want to create an empty table using a new table, using an old table basically. Okay, so in that case you will think, okay, I can type it down. Okay, I can write the query for the new table again. But suppose your old table is having 100 of columns, then is it feasible for you to write it down again if your requirement is to just have the same schema for your table, for new table? So in that case, you just need to add a where clause that causes the query to return no data. Basically, you want to give a where clause where the condition will be always false. In that case, no data will be flowing from your old table to the new table. So how can you do that? This thing is this: select star into your new table from old table where the condition is always false. 1 is equals to 0. This condition is always false, so no data will be flowing from old table to new table, but your new table will be created and it will be empty, and the schema for this new table will be exactly same as the old table. So in this way, select into statement can be used very efficiently. So if you understood this video entirely, then please give the thumbs up in this video, then it will motivate me and my team very much. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much.